evening or good morning, or good afternoon, or good night, depending on when you're viewing this video. And it's review time again. See, there was no doubt about that, was there? And today's loco is made by Hornby. Yes, that's right, Hornby. And it's the Class 56. Now, before I go any further on this video, I have a little story to tell about this. Originally, in 2012 last year, I purchased the Class N15, which you saw in the last review, and the Hornby A4, which was Commonwealth of Australia, and it was a limited edition. However, last weekend, Hatton's emailed me back saying that they hadn't got the loco in stock, even though they said they had 2 locos in stock and they had processed the order, which is nice. But they were very kind to me to say that I could either have my money back or pick something else. Oh, that was very kind, wasn't it? And so I did pick something else. I picked the next best thing to an A4, and that is a Class 56 in Railfreight Grey livery and numbered 56040, and it's called Oystermouth. Now, Hornby did do another Class 56 in this livery. I forget which running number it's in. Well, it was, should I say. But they did do another Railfreight Grey grid. However, you can't really get that one very easily now. You might be lucky to have your local model shop sell it, but the most likely place where you can get that one from is off the internet. However, this one is still available. Well, it was only released in 2011, which I'm inclined to believe, so it's only really been out for 2 years, which is good. Now, the Class 56s in real life, they were all built by BR in Doncaster and Crewe, and they were supposed to have been built using modified Class 47 body shells, which is kind of interesting. And they are nicknamed grids because of the grid-like horn covers on the front. And this locomotive was, well, it was preserved by the Class 56 group, and it took 5 years to restore this. Sadly, it no longer exists. It was scrapped in 2011 at Barrow Hill. And do you know why it was scrapped? It was scrapped to be able to purchase the ex-Fastline Class 56s, 56301 and 56302. Why did they do that? Didn't they hear of fundraising? You know, other groups earned money by fundraising, so why couldn't they? Why did they have to scrap a Class 56? One of the best locos out there. You know, it's not the first Class 56 in preservation to go as well. The BR Blue Large Logo grid, 56101, called Frank Hornby, is now in Hungary. And that was exchanged for another Class 56. I don't know which one it was now, I can't remember, but that one was sent to Hungary. But it's not as bad as actually cutting it up like they did with this one. You know, that is just overkill. That's like trading in the Flying Scotsman for Reliant Robin. You know, that's just not right, is it? But anyway, let's get this open and see what it's like. Now, usually they give you the box sleeves, don't they? That have brief history on the back. But they haven't done it with this one, but never mind. It's not really a problem anyway. And this has only just arrived in the post, considering, apparently, I wasn't supposed to get it until tomorrow. Which is odd, but there you go. Well, I was told I wasn't supposed to get it tomorrow anyway. But I got it today anyway. But anyway, let's move on. Ah, yes. That's the sight that we all like to see. The polystyrene packaging that splits in two. Yes. This is my favourite packaging. Right, so we'll take the bog standard box and cardboard sleeve to one side. Right, well, I just got interrupted by a shed. Not a garden shed, a Class 66. Typical. Doesn't the driver know I'm supposed to be doing a review? But anyway, so here's the instructions for the grid. I do already have one of these. 456128 West Burton Power Station. But I don't really recommend that you get rid of this one, even if you have got the same. and it's pretty much the usual stuff really, nothing new. We're all used to it, aren't we? And then we get this, and I haven't really seen this bit before. It's separate instructions on how to remove the transit brackets. So as you can see, there's a picture of the loco on its side and the instructions with a few little arrows and telling you how to remove it, which is interesting, and I wasn't expecting that. You see, the wonders of what they bring you these days. And here's the rather pointless, bog standard, unreliable DCC jacket. Don't know why they still need to use them, but anyway. Right, so now, before we open it up, we have some detail here. So let's just have a look at it. Yeah, let's just fold these bits of tape back. Right, so it's basically the couplings in there. A few chain link couplings. These which go on the buffer beam, which I'm inclined to believe. And some pipes that are different colours. Some are red, some are white and some are yellow. How very interesting. And then you get these, which fit under the buffer beam, and they do seem to cover up the NEM sockets. But they aren't really easy to fit in, because on the last 56 I couldn't get even one of these in. Which is interesting. But you know, that could be because the holes are too small. But I don't really plan to use these anyway. Because, well, why? Because you can actually, if you've got 2 grids, or even 3, double head them. Or have them in a convoy. But anyway. So let's get the box open. So, you've seen me do this lots of times. We just take off these plastic bands. And then the window comes off. And then we just lift the roof off of the box. And then we just grab the model. Chuck the bottom away. And then we take off this somewhat pointless tissue paper. Oh wow, and there she is, in all her glory. Okay, now you will notice these transit brackets. So, we will have to remove them. In fact, I will do that now. So, bear with me a sec. Right, well I'm back, and I have removed the transit brackets. And they weren't exactly easy to do, I must point out. But, you know, anyway. Right, so onto the loco. Wow. Just look at this. This is just incredible. I mean, where do I start? She is fantastic. I mean, for start, just look at the bogey detail. Look at that. Yeah, I know nothing's painted on them, but, you know, if that's your problem, then, you know. But I suppose you could do it yourself if you wanted to. Also, do be careful of these here at the bottom. They are what I believe are the sanding gear. As you can see there. Do be careful because they are fragile. The fuel tank is also very nicely detailed. There's a very nice texture to it. Also, she weighs an absolute ton. She's very heavy. Well, obviously the real thing in real life will be much heavier because you wouldn't be able to pick the thing up. But, you know, this is quite heavy. You know, very heavy. You know, there's an awful lot of weight in that. But that's what we need, we want the weight. Because without the weight, she wouldn't be able to pull a leaf, never mind a train. But anyway, as you can see, we do have sprung buffers. Of course. It's what you get with a premium model from Hornby now. There's proper wipers on the windows. And there's a few warning signs there at the front. And they've even put on those little red diamonds at the side of the grille horn covers there. But that's what the locomotive did have in real life, so it's nice that they pick that. As you can see, there's the grid itself. Well, these versions were called the grid irons because they have the slightly smaller grid. Because the original grids that came out, the 56s, they had large horn covers at the front. As you can see, you get the little metal bit that has been done very nicely and riveted, which is where it would have been. However, later on, on some of the locos, they made some of the grids smaller. So that's why they're called the grid irons, but they're still called grids though, to be fair. There's nothing different. There's also some separate handrails, painted white on the model there. And also well, it's basically the jumper cables. That's it, it came into my mind then. Had to think. And that basically allows you to couple them up together if it's forming into double heading. And there's also a few lamp points on the bottom there, and you can see the holes where the detailing has to go on the red buffer beam. And you do get them couplings because of the sockets there, as you can see. Also there's the number, which is nicely printed there on the side. Also there's some more handrails down the door there, and I do like this little bit of metal here that's basically the footstep, and that is a really nice touch. It's like what you'll see on real life. And the doors, yeah, they do in fact open on both ends, which is a nice touch. The livery is spot on, you know, and this is really a nice classic livery, basically from the 80s to the early 90s, when it would start to be replaced. It's basically, in the case of the Class 56, red buffer beams, a big grey body with the huge BR logo there, yellow ends and black paint around the windows. Now this is a livery I did see when I was little, but it was very, very rarely. I saw it on a few 47s and a Class 37, and I did see some Class 20s and 31s parked up in this livery too. But I saw no Class 56s in this livery, but it's such a nice classic livery, and it's my first Railfreight Grey livery loco too. So that's why I picked it. Also, now the grills on this side, I just love them because you can actually see through them, just about, as you can see there. And that is really nice. And the grills are nice texture too, on the top and the bottom. The other end of the locomotive is just as detailed, and again, sprung buffers. Also you get the little Railfreight logo there on the side, and more opening doors. And there's the nameplate, Oystermouth. Now you don't get any etched ones, because this is very, very rare that Hornby do so. So you could probably have to find them yourselves on websites like Fox Transfers, but I'm not really too bothered with them, to be honest. I like the painted ones as they are. And then if you just spin around carefully, the other side is just as detailed. And you've got some nice small rivets there on the bottom. And that, I do believe, though I could be wrong, is where it fills up in real life. Well, it might, I don't know. I don't know what that is used for in real life. Comments are accepted below. And the roof, just look at the roof. It is lovely. You've got these more grills down the side. You've got the exhaust there at the top where the clag comes out of. Vroom, vroom, vroom. So you could weather it, I suppose. That's up to you. And there's some more detailing there on one of the panels. And then you do get two grills with fans under them, of course. You know, you don't see Hornby locos with grills without the fans underneath. And there is some riveting on the roof as well, just look at that. Wow. She is absolutely stunning. And she's going to go well with my other Class 56, which I'll just get it to show you. and here it is, West Burton Power Station in the coal sector livery, which is a livery I got to see quite a lot in my time. Well, one of the liveries. And as you can see, it is just as incredibly detailed. Do watch out for the buffers though, must point out. But you do get opening doors. You know, there's nothing different about it, other than the grid at the front there, as you can see. This should have a coupling in it, but I have mysteriously seemed to have lost that. Which is interesting. Maybe it must have happened when I was putting her back in storage. It must have decided to slip out and do a runner, if you know what I'm saying. But wow. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well, didn't I? With this Class 56, there are working lights. From what I can remember last time, I do believe it's the top one at the top there, and these two that light up white, and in reverse it's them two at the bottom that are red. Also, now the buffers in reality on 56040 were white, but I will get them painted myself and put like little grease marks in the middle, or if you like, where the paint would have rubbed off when the buffers clashed together, when she was coupling up. But that'll be later on. And in fact, I will get these two in a future video, double heading, pulling, well, I don't know. What should I get them to pull? How about a goods train, or even better, a rail tour? What do you think? I don't know. Comments are accepted again. But anyway, wow. We've seen how amazingly detailed she is. Let's have a look at how she performs. And I have it on good authority. They've run incredibly well. I'll show you. Well, of course, it wouldn't be a review without running in, would it? Right, so here we are at the layout. Now, I know I did say that I was going to get that area over there cleaned up. It still has the weathering powder on it. I know. I will get it cleaned up ASAP, but I have been busy with other things though. But anyway, enough on that. Let's get the loco on the tracks. Now, I'm going to run her with the fans at the back of the loco. Now, you can run it in either direction. You can run it either that way or this way, because it's a diesel. It's designed to go in both directions, but I like running my locos this way, because I always get the rolling stock coupled up where the fans are. Don't know why, I just do. Because I think they look more interesting driven this way with the fans and the grills at the back. But anyway. Right, so she's on the track. And now let's give her some juice. Oh, hang on. Wrong line. I'm driving her on this track. Nearly forgot about that then. Ugh. But anyway. Okay, right, now we can drive her. Let's just pan the camera down a bit. Just look at that. That is a very smooth runner. Now, I was nearly right about the lights. It turns out the one at the top and the two at the bottom light up coming towards you and going away from you. It's obviously going to be the two at the top, isn't it? So I apologise for that, but I was more or less right the first time. There she goes, under the station, which is still under construction. Well, before I give you the beams, we'll just slow it down a little bit because I want to show you something. Look at this. The fans are spinning. Wow. If I max the power a little bit, there you are. There you are. Wow, look at that. I've just got a big grin on my face now. Because, well, the other Class 56 fans, they do spin, but only in one direction now. I know that's a band, One Direction, but you know. Let's just look at the fans one more time. Yeah, just look at that. That's a brilliant touch. Power. Jeremy Clarkson quote, that is. There we go, look at that. Imagine that thundering down the West Coast Main Line with a big freight train. Now I must point out, interestingly, you cannot see the tail lights. But maybe they are there, it's probably because you have to see them in night time with the lights off. Because the lights are that dim. Well, here we can just turn the lights off anyway. Which is not too much of a problem, not like you're going to notice them that much anyway when it's pulling the freight train. In fact, how about we get it coupled up to a goods train? Right, well, I'm back. I've put a coupling on the loco there. Well, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be able to pull anything. And we're going to get it to pull a rake of coal hoppers. You'll have to excuse the ballast one here. That's just going to be there temporary until I get some more hoppers. You know, proper MGR ones. But that's just there temporarily. So we have these 3 MGR hoppers which were given to me years ago by a friend who went into Mother Railways, but, well, never actually built a layout and then went out of them. And they are factory weathered, as you can see. Then we have this very nice mainline blue HEA hopper. And these were used for coal as well. And I think it looks really nice with these 3. And then of course we have the grey NE ballast hopper. I suppose it doesn't look too bad with these. But when I get some more MGR hoppers in the future, I will replace this with the others. Which just doing to fulfilling really. But anyway. Right, so let's get her to back up. And the reason why I put her so far away is because I want you to have a look at this. This is a more different design to Hornby, mainly with the lights. Because now that she's reversing, there's no lights at the front. We've come to the back. There are the lights on the rear. And I think that is a really nice touch, because to be honest, when the locomotive is going to be running on the layout, pulling trains, you're not really going to notice the tail lights much anyway. So that is a really nice touch, that is. Oh yes, look at that. A nice gentle couple up that was. And so, let's get her going. Now I know it's only a small train, but just look at how nice that is. Now just listen to them as they travel over some of the joints in the track. See, that is a really nice noise, that is. It's like realism when they make that clanking noise in real life. I just love that noise, I don't know why, even though it sounds weird. Right, well that pretty much sums up to my review of the Class 56 from Hornby. It's another high scorer. If you haven't got one of these already, then, well, why haven't you? I strongly recommend you go out and buy yourself one, because you will not be disappointed. I definitely am not.